Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 65 female, have faced significant challenges due to my infertility, enduring 2 divorces and enduring the mockery of others for being unable to conceive. My infertility led me to spend a great deal of time seeking medical assistance, constantly moving from one hospital to another. Unfortunately, the results were consistently disappointing. Eventually, I had to come to terms with the fact that I could not have a biological child. Consequently, I made the decision to pursue adoption. At 3 months old, I welcomed my son, 24, into my life through adoption, showering him with the love and care any mother would give to her child. As he grew, our bond strengthened to the point where it was difficult for anyone to discern that he wasn't my biological child. Recently, he became engaged to his girlfriend, 23 female, and they began making plans for their future together. They discovered a house they adored and were in the process of arranging a down payment for it. So I wanted to support their journey and offered to put a down payment for their dream house. During a seemingly normal family dinner 2 days ago, emotions ran high. The topic of children came up, and out of nowhere, my son's fiancée launched a hurtful verbal attack. With a disdainful smirk, she remarked, "I hope I wouldn't end up like you, unable to have kids and having to adopt." Shockingly, my son nodded in agreement. The room fell silent and things were awkward afterwards. I held myself together, not wanting to break down in public. Later, I confronted my son and his fiancée about their hurtful words. Instead of being remorseful, they accused me of overreacting and being too sensitive. They said I had nothing to be so worked up about, since what they said was literally the truth. Then my son pulled me aside and said that I needed to be more understanding, because having an adoptive mom is his one insecurity in life. And even with an adoptive parent, his fiancée and her family have welcomed him to their family when most families wouldn't. So I just needed to be more accommodating to the fiancé's sentiments. So yesterday, I decided that I'm withdrawing my offer for the down payment. It was a no-nonsense response to their disrespectful behavior. My family is backing me up on this, but my son and fiancé were livid. They are now accusing me of being a petty miser that enjoys ruining their dreams. But I'm refusing to back down. I know that I probably got their hopes up, but I don't want to waste my life savings on an ungrateful pair. So am I the a-hole? Update. Since the incident, I have barely had any energy to get out of the bed. I've been crying a lot, feeling like I wasted all my life raising my son, who turned into a shitty human. Recently, he and his fiancée paid me a visit. They insisted I go ahead with the down payment because, as it turned out, they have invested that money into their wedding planning, so they aren't left with anything for a house. They accused me of leaving them high and dry, but I said if I'm the reason for such an insecurity, then they shouldn't accept my money. They still haven't stopped blowing up my phone. My family has suggested I take a vacation with the money. Maybe I should consider it. You're not the a-hole, OP. You didn't deserve any of that. Your adoptive son and his fiancée are the a-holes. You raised him and treated him like a son. The least he can do for you is not sit down with his fiancée to tell you how insecure your love and care makes him feel. I don't understand how he could even say that and then call you sensitive when you reacted. Being adopted isn't a bad thing. If her fiancé and her fiancé's parents make it feel like it is, then he should have dumped them instead of tagging along with them to break your heart. Definitely go for a vacation. Your adoptive son does not deserve any more penny from you. You've tried your best for him, and since he has proven to be ungrateful, cut him out of your life. Story 2. I need some insight to see if I'm in the wrong because I really don't feel like I am. I, 32 female, just received an invite to my cousin Alex's, 30 females, wedding. It stated on the invite that the wedding was child-free. I'm not new to child-free weddings, but what has me frustrated is the fact that there will be children in the wedding. Alex plans on having her and her future husband's, 33 males, nieces and nephews at their wedding. I overheard her asking her sister if her niece could be the flower girl at a family get-together. This confused me because child-free means no children. So I called Alex and asked. I told her and said that if her nieces and nephews are going, then my daughter 5, similar in age to her nieces and nephews, should be allowed to go too. Alex said that only those in the bridal party are the exception and that she wants the nieces and nephews at the wedding. When I asked why they could come and not my daughter, she said it's because she knows her nieces and nephews are well behaved, so there will be no issues. She also knows her sister and brother-in-law's parent very well, and to top it off, she is a teacher who wants a day where she doesn't have to deal with the children of others. She also said she is closer to them. I told her that her reasoning was ridiculous because child-free means no kids, including her nieces and nephews. Alex told me if I was more than welcome to decline the invite. So I did. I ended up venting to my mother, married to Alex's dad's brother, and while she didn't agree with Alex, she said she could understand her feelings. However, my dad didn't like it and called her dad, my Uncle Mitch, asking why my daughter could not come. Mitch told my dad that it is Alex's wedding and she can do as she pleases. He also said cousins are not the same as nieces and nephews, especially since they're in the bridal party. My dad said since Mitch is paying for it and that he should talk Alex into allowing children. But he declined and said that he and my aunt don't believe paying for the wedding gives them a say, and even if it did, he agrees with Alex. This upset my dad, so he then told other family members. Now, several members are upset that Alex and her future husband's nieces and nephews will be there, but no one else is allowed to bring their children. We have a fairly large family and we all watch each other's children, so finding childcare will be difficult. Most of the family says it's Alex's wedding and her reasons make sense, but I and some of my cousins are refusing to attend. Alex doesn't seem to care one way or another. One cousin told Alex she was bringing her child anyways, to which Alex responded, "Make sure you wear sneakers so it's easier on your feet as you're escorted back to your car." Which is how we found out she's having the security guard from her school checking the guest list, and that he knows to not let any children in. Am I the a-hole? You are the a-hole, OP. You started this whole crusade to get your kid invited to a wedding, and you're dragging your dad into this, and potentially driving a wedge in the family. This is not your wedding. If she says it's childless, then it's childless. Find a babysitter or don't go. If she made exceptions for her siblings' kids, who she is obviously closer to than yours, that's literally her choice. Again, it's her day. Her wedding and her choice. Good for her parents for sticking up for her. Just because they pay does not make them entitled to make decisions for her. Like, what are you arguing about? She is paying for her day to be exactly how she wants it. You're making a big mess for nothing, to be honest. Just don't go if it rubs you the wrong way. She doesn't seem to care anyways, honestly. She might just be inviting you because she has to, because you're a cousin. Now for some comments. You are the a-hole. It's her wedding and she gets to decide who can come or not. You complaining to your parents and having your dad call her dad to complain is childish. It might seem unfair, but it's her wedding and you don't have any right to argue with her about any decisions that she makes. If you don't agree with her rules, then do exactly what she said. Don't go. She isn't forcing you to do anything you don't have to do. I love how her dad tried to convince the bride's dad to leverage paying for the wedding to force extended family members to be allowed to bring their kids as well. The policy the bride has is pretty standard for a child-free wedding. Many of them still include the close family kids or kids in the wedding party. Every action taken by OP and those on her side just drips with entitlement. I really hope some of them do try and show up with their kids and end up being escorted out. Anyways, you are the a-hole. You are the a-hole. Sure, it's a wedding and the only kids that will be there are the ones in the wedding. If that was the end of the story, I would have said no a-holes here. However, your insistence on trying to force her hand into letting you and other people bring their children, or anyone for that matter, to someone else's wedding is what makes you the a-hole. The other thing is, you admitted that you have a large family. The difference between having 2 children and having 10 children there is pretty big. Children in big numbers can very easily get really loud and out of control. She told you that you are welcome to decline if you don't approve, and you did. But now you're throwing a tantrum about the situation, and it's a bit ridiculous. Story 3. Before having our kid, 8 weeks old, we agreed that I would be the working parent, and my partner would stay home. We made this decision for various reasons, but we were 100% in agreement before trying to conceive. I'm now back at work. 50% at home and 50% in the office. I work 10-hour days, plus 3 hours total of commuting on the days I'm in the office. In the morning, I wake up, get myself ready, change the baby, dress the baby, feed the baby. I will try and get the baby to go back to sleep before starting work, but this doesn't always happen. When I work from home, I will take the baby during the day when I'm able to keep an eye on her and work simultaneously. After work, I look after the baby for 1 or 2 hours so my partner can have some time to themselves. Then we do bath time together, and I give the baby her final bottle and put her to bed, after which I also sleep. During the week, my partner does all the night wakings, and on the weekend I handle them. I do all the house admin. I buy all the groceries and do a majority of the cooking. Laundry and dishes are split evenly. My partner handles all the other cleaning. To provide some additional context, a partner recently convinced me to lend $300 to brother-in-law who hasn't paid it back. And knowing him, most likely won't. It won't bankrupt us, but we really could have used that money this month. I guess it had been a tough night last night. I slept in a separate room to get some solid sleep. Because my partner was snappy with me, saying something like, "Just come take her and get out," when I went to get the baby. So I took kiddo, did our usual routine, and then started work from home. My day started with a call, during which I put kiddo back in my partner's room, and once again I got snapped at. "Isn't it your job to put her back to sleep before bringing her here?" I couldn't. The baby didn't want to sleep. After my first call, I had no more plans for a couple of hours, so I took kiddo back. At around 10 a.m. I had more calls planned, so I took the baby back to my partner and promised that I would come back later in the afternoon so they could take a longer nap if they wanted. I then went to make a bottle to save my partner from having to get out of bed. As I passed the bottle to my partner to feed the baby, I got a, "What the hell took you so long?" So I eventually snapped and said, "I get it, you're effing tired, but this is what you signed up for when you agreed to be a stay-at-home parent. Am I not working my ass off to provide for this family and to help make up for the money which you wanted to give your brother? So tone down your effing attitude and show me some more respect and gratitude." I didn't yell, but I was very stern. I also stormed out of the room, and since then have just been working. Was I the a-hole to respond in this way? ETA, my partner has not said anything to me since the incident and is quite clearly angry about my outburst, so I am concerned I overstepped with my comments. Edit 2. I realized I didn't include genders, but I'm the mother in this situation. Partner is the baby's dad. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. You're both new parents and occasional snapping is expected. You're both tired and trying to manage a baby during a pandemic. Honestly, it sounds like you guys could use a night off to reconnect and just have a break. But just a note, men can actually have postpartum depression. If your partner's behavior is really off and out of character, then it might be worth looking into. Not the a-hole, but your communication needs improvement. Your partner is definitely in the wrong. But you need to address that, not work around it. Forget about the chance of accidentally blowing up. You're running yourself into the ground. I get the feeling it's out of guilt that you're not parenting enough, which is nonsense. You can't do everything. You and your partner need therapy, and you need to communicate your feelings. Maybe your partner will be unhappy when you hold up the mirror. So what? Do you think your child growing up thinking it's okay for one parent to be lazy and the other to run around trying to do everything? Especially since it reinforces existing sexist gender roles. Considering you're a woman and your partner is a man? Absolutely not the a-hole. What is your partner doing other than staying at home? He should do the night calls both weekends and weekdays. And you need to keep your sleeping pattern for work. Then you can do the morning feed. As you do so, your partner possibly can sleep in. If you can't get the baby to sleep, he needs to realize that's less of a nap for him in the morning. So he gets the baby back to sleep and then can have more naps. When he then gets up, he should clean the house and take the baby for a stroll combined with grocery shopping. Then you get home and cook. Chill while he does the dishes and possibly laundry, then you bathe the baby and have it go to sleep, then you have some time. If you can't do that, he goes back to work and you stay at home.